Ross Henry, Comm 101, How a Swirl of Clouds Leads to Mass Destruction, the Effects of Hurricanes. Alright, imagine you're on vacation in the Caribbean. You're laying on the beach, enjoying a margarita, and you see clouds start to form over the ocean. And you notice the sky is turning dark, the winds are picking up, and the water temperature is rising. This is the early signs of a hurricane. Tropical cyclones or hurricanes are the most deadly because they have the most destruction of any kind of inclement weather. The three conditions and how a hurricane forms is the ocean must be warm enough because of heat and moisture for the water to evaporate and lead to the clouds. The moisture combines with heat and energy, and the wind patterns must be near the ocean for spiral air to go inward to the clouds. Alright, first condition. The hurricanes are giant engines that use warm, moist air as fuel. Without this fuel, hurricanes would not have the higher winds and the amount of destructions they do. The ocean must be warm enough for heat and moisture. Air rises and less air is left in the air, and all the humid air is soaked into the clouds. The high pressure and low pressure areas in the atmosphere are unbalanced, and that is also what leads to hurricanes. Warm and moist air also rises, so then there is new air present in the atmosphere. Warm air rises and cools the water, and the air forms clouds, which are the swirling cap clouds that develop over the ocean. Storm system rotates faster and faster. The clouds swirl over the ocean, and this causes an eye to form in the center. The eye is at the center, and there is descending air and ascending air are going all around the eye of the storm. The eye is the most calmest, but the eye wall is the most destructive. You think that being in the center of a storm would be the most destructive, but really it's most calm because it doesn't have as much humidity in the center as it does around. The eye is 20 to 30 miles wide. The hurricanes can extend up to 600 miles out. So that's why hurricanes can go on for weeks at a time, and why it takes so long to reach land. The winds in the hurricane can reach from 75 to 200 miles per hour. Each hurricane can last over a week, as I said, and they just go 10 to 20 miles an hour. The high pressure in the eye wall flows down to the eye, which is why the winds are so strong when it reaches land, because all of this pressure is built up in the storm. Alright, when winds in a storm reach 39 miles per hour, that's called a tropical storm. It's not a hurricane. Some people mistake it for a hurricane, but that's just a tropical storm with high winds. But when the winds reach 74 miles per hour, this is when they can categorize it as a category 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Hurricanes that were categories like this are Katrina, Henry, and Ida. Now I will let you know the second condition of how the storm escalates. Moisture from the water evaporates and combines with heat and energy to form a hurricane further. The top of the eye wall, which is up to 50,000 feet, the air is pushed outward, increasing air's upward motion. The air moves into the storm and sinks into the eye, creating a cloud-free area. Hurricanes are heat engines that converts warmth of tropical oceans and atmosphere into wind, and what causes high waves and high currents. The heat dissipates as the system moves toward land. This is a very hardship for many people on the coastline because their lives are inconvenienced with all these storms that can cause destructions to their homes. The heat and water in the air creates thick humid clouds that swirl over the ocean. Lastly is the third and final condition, which is the wind patterns that occur. This must be near the ocean's surface so the spiral can occur from the clouds, and that's when the eye of the storm develops in the eye wall. If the winds are moving counterclockwise, which is in the north atmosphere, that means that's one of the most deadliest because it's going in a reversed order. So the winds, when the winds go in reverse order, it just causes more destruction rather than clockwise as they do in the south hemisphere. Winds are characterized by the converging winds at surface. Strong winds are at higher altitudes. The warm winds rise and water vapor condenses to form storm clouds and rain. This is known as latent heat of condensation. The warmer the air, the more it causes it to rise. This cycle continues, moving heat from surface to atmosphere. Now I have explained the three main ideas of how a hurricane, there are signals of a hurricane and how they form. I hope this gives you a better understanding of how violent and how these storms are created. As I said, hurricanes are formed by three conditions. Warm, moist air fuels the hurricane, moisture combines with heat and energy, and the wind patterns must be near the surface of the ocean to spiral inward. Vacationing in the Caribbean can be very fun and exciting, even thrilling. But now you know the early signs of a hurricane and what leads up to it. Now you know when you're on vacation how to spot a hurricane.